Welcome back to Pastry Maestra. I'm Teresa and today I'm making gluten-free pistachio and raspberry choux craquelin. Today I'm making gluten-free pistachio and raspberry choux craquelin. Why gluten-free? Well, I have lots of friends who don't eat gluten, and since I love them, I wanted to make them happy. Simple as that. Now, I've decided to make pistachio and raspberry flavor combination because in my opinion, it's a match made in heaven. Now, a few words about pistachios. Pistachios are seeds that grow on a small tree originating from Central Asia and the Middle East. They are a great source of healthy fats, fiber, protein, antioxidants and various nutrients, including vitamin B6. Actually, 1 ounce of pistachios has the same amount of protein as 1 whole egg. Wow! Also, scientific evidence suggests that eating 50 grams, which is about 1.5 ounces of nuts, such as pistachios, lowers the bad cholesterol and may reduce the risk of heart disease. Yummy and healthy, I like that. Oh, there's something else. Now listen to this. Antioxidants are really good guys. We all know that, right? Did you know that pistachios owe their beautiful distinctive color, you know, that warm green with just a touch of purple hue, to antioxidants? Yes, it's crazy, right? Yummy and healthy and beautiful. Where does it end? In fact, it doesn't. Not yet. I bet you haven't heard about the pistachio principle. Have you? No, I didn't think so. Well, my dear sweetness lovers, it goes something like this. The pistachio principle is a simple, mindful eating concept that can help you feel that your tummy is full, but without sacrificing. You see, the premise of the pistachio principle is that snacking on in-shell pistachios may help you stop eating, because the leftover shells offer a visual cue about the amount of pistachios you've consumed. When you see a pile of shells, you're not hungry anymore, hence the reduction in calorie intake. Brilliant! Oh, there's one more thing. Some sources say that breaking the pistachio shells is a great workout for your thumbs and also helps develop hand-eye coordination. Just kidding. Anyway, let's practice our hand-eye coordination by making ourselves some gluten-free pistachio and raspberry choux craquelin. As usual, the recipe is on my site and the link is down below. To make gluten-free craquelin, I've put softened butter into a bowl. Now I'll add light brown sugar and mix to combine. Then I'll add rice flour and mix with a silicone spatula until I get uniform mixture. I've put craquelin onto a piece of parchment paper. First, I'll spread it lightly with my fingers. Then, I'll put another piece of parchment paper onto the craquelin. I will roll it out to 2 mm, which is 1/12 of an inch thickness, using my adjustable rolling pin. I'm rolling from the center towards one end, at the same time holding the opposite side of the paper so it doesn't slide. I will put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. To make a gluten-free choux pastry, I'll put milk, water, butter, salt, and sugar into a saucepan and bring the mixture to a boil. I've put rice flour into a stand mixer fitted with pedal attachment, and now I'll pour boiling mixture into the flour. I'll mix on medium speed until combined. My mixture is lukewarm, and now I'll gradually add eggs, mixing well after each addition. It is very important that you don't add eggs while the mixture is still hot, because it will become too runny. My choux mixture is creamy, soft and shiny. I've put my template with circles 5 cm, which is 2 inches in diameter, under the parchment paper. I've put my choux mixture into a piping bag fitted with 12 mm, which is half an inch tip, and now I'll pipe blobs 5 cm, which is 2 inches in diameter. I've lined another baking tray with parchment paper, and I've put a template with smaller circles under it. Now I'll pipe smaller blobs, 2.5 centimeters, which is 1 inch in diameter, using a 6 mm, which is 1/4 of an inch tip. Both my templates you can download from the post on my site, the link is in the description. My craquelin is well chilled, and now I'll cut out larger discs for my large blobs and smaller discs for my small blobs. I will place craquelin discs onto my choux pastry blobs using my small spatula. I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees centigrade, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and now I'll put my choux craquelin in the oven and immediately lower the temperature to 180 degrees centigrade, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll bake larger choux for about 30 minutes and smaller choux for about 15 minutes until nicely browned and puffed. Then I will leave them to cool down completely. To make raspberry gel, I've put sugar into a bowl. I will add agar-agar powder and stir well with a whisk. Then I'll put raspberry puree, water, and sugar and agar-agar mixture into a saucepan. I'll stir to combine. I will cook this mixture until it boils, stirring well to prevent it from burning. I will allow it to boil for about 1 minute. Then I will remove the pan from the stove. I'll transfer the mixture into a measuring cup. I will cover it with cling film and put it in the fridge until it cools down completely. To make pistachio ganache, I'll soak gelatin in cold water. As soon as my gelatin softens, I'll take it out and squeeze to get rid of the excess water. I've placed cream into a bowl, and now I'll add glucose syrup and vanilla powder. I will heat up this in the microwave. Then I'll add soaked gelatin and stir until it melts. I've put white chocolate into a bowl, and now I will strain hot cream into the chocolate. I will blend this mixture with immersion blender until it becomes uniform. Then I'll add pistachio paste and blend the mixture once more. I will cover the mixture with cling film and leave it in the fridge for a couple of hours. My raspberry gel is cold and set, and now I will blend it with immersion blender until I get smooth gel. I've put raspberry gel into a piping bag fitted with 1 mm, which is 3/64 of an inch tip, and now I will carefully puncture and fill my small choux craquelin with it. I will cut off the top of my choux shell using serrated knife. I've put pistachio ganache into a piping bag fitted with star tip, and now I will pipe a middle-sized blob into the bottom part of my choux shell. Then I'll insert my smaller choux filled with raspberry gel into the ganache blob. I will pipe some more ganache all around and over the smaller choux until it is completely covered. To decorate the top part of my choux shell, I'll pipe one small blob of ganache on the top using a piping bag fitted with 6 mm, which is about 1/4 of an inch tip. Then I will sprinkle some chopped pistachios onto the ganache. I will insert one fresh raspberry in the middle. I will place the whole ensemble onto the ganache. Finally, I'll pipe some raspberry gel dots all around the ganache. There, my lovely gluten-free pistachio and raspberry choux craquelin is done. Enjoy!
Oh baby, you are so sweet, so delicious and yummy, so good to eat. I wanna lick you, feel your sweetness on my lips. Forever and ever, you'll stay on my hips.
I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, visit my site where you can find elaborate posts with lots of pictures, additional information and recipes that follow my every video. Also, on my site you can download my free 365 pages ebook, The Pastry Chef, and maybe buy me a macaron. If you think that I've earned it. Now, before you go, Please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. Finally, and this is the most important thing, don't forget to create sweetness every day, because sweetness is happiness. See you in my next video. Bye!